We've got former Wisconsin Governor Scott McCallum on why he says Walker is picking the wrong candidate. Governor, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
Why do you think ultimately Walker went with Cruz? Because when I read his statement, he talked about electability. He talked about beating Hillary in the fall. He didn't disparage any of the other candidates. And so is that the case, really, where the GOP seems to be coalescing around Ted Cruz as the candidate who can win now and later on?
Well, if you truly go with the candidate who's leading against Hillary, that would be Governor John Kasich, of course. His numbers are very good in a general election. I think that a lot of strategy, what you've seen is a lot of the money now going, and particularly the independent groups, the spending is going towards Stop Trump. And the feeling right now, looking at the polls in Wisconsin, is Cruz has the greatest ability to be able to stop Trump in Wisconsin. The numbers are very difficult for any of the candidates right now, including Trump, to get the number of delegates needed to win in the first ballot. So how do you stop Trump from reaching the 54 to 60% of the remaining delegates he needs? You pick off different candidates, and that's where the money has been going. And those that want to see a brokered convention have seen where the money is going in Wisconsin.
And of course, Kasich can only benefit. He's the contested convention is the only way he can be elevated to the nominee. Do you think then we'll see the same sort of shift toward him when it comes to Pennsylvania? Recent polls have showed him surprisingly competitive there, just coming on like gangbusters in the last couple of weeks. Do you think maybe some of the same money that may be behind Cruz in Wisconsin will shift gears and then be behind your guy in Pennsylvania?
I think John Kasich has been gaining momentum the last several weeks in every state. In particular, he has been strong from the start in the East and the eastern states. And I think you're going to see a lot of momentum coming from the Kasich campaign as we wind down in the number of primaries that are taking place. But the field is narrowed, and further, people are taking closer looks at the candidates. They're looking at what people are actually saying in issues, who stands where, what they're doing.
Right.
And I think an important aspect is, with so much negative, who's the person who can bring the country together?
Well,
who's the one who can lead as unifier?
Before I let you go, then, on a similar note, the arrest, not the arrest, but the charge against Donald Trump's campaign manager. We do have a statement out from someone associated with the Kasich campaign saying this reflects the value of the candidate. He would, in fact, would fire or terminate the employment of Corey Lewandowski. What do you think? Will this have a real impact on the campaign at all?
Well, I'm going to speak for myself and not for the campaign on this. And I'm going to speak as a father and as an employer. It's unacceptable to have this type of activity going on. Now, of course, there's going to be the person deserves their day in court, but there's also the court of public opinion. And I tell you, if my daughter was manhandled like that and ended up with bruises because of workplace setting, my court of public opinion is I couldn't, and the top of the person, the candidate, needs to accept full responsibility. And the very least, to say if I had that going on, somebody at least would be on suspension, and there's just no room for it in any type of business. Well,
Donald Trump, of course, is standing 100% behind his campaign manager, which I think, to be quite frank with you, just has endeared him even more to people who like him. I've got to let you go because, Governor, we've got some breaking news. I'm sorry, but you've made some fantastic points, and we'll bring you back a little bit later. But I want to get